Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome. Hopefully, we have a rocket launch tonight. I've got rocket launch blue balls for like the last 7 times. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, and praying that we actually get a launch tonight. Long time no see. It feels like it's been years since I've streamed last. But welcome everyone. Digger, hello. Jason, hello, sir. Hey, Alexander, what's up, man? It happens. It happens. I had other things going on. Shenny, hello. Hey, Scad. Why couldn't I continue from the other stream? It it gets to be kind of a pain in the ass when you stack up different categories in one stream. So I try and keep them separate. It just seems like it's a better use of the thing. I certainly could, but what's up, HT? I know, fingers crossed, right? We're still good for now. So, hey, Bad Dazza. Hey, what's up, Matt? Very different things. Unless it's wartime, then you can murder someone with a rocket, but we're not going to get into that. Happy thoughts. Starlink mission from the Falcon 9 will launch to low Earth orbit tonight from Space Launch Complex 40, SLC 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Liftoff is targeted for 11:01 p.m. Eastern Time, so 9 minutes. We're not even going to care about those backup opportunities because it's going first. And everything is still go as far as now. This is the third flight for the first stage booster supporting this mission, which previously launched Crew-7 CRS-29. So Crew-7 was a commercial crew program. CRS was commercial resupply mission, and this will be only its third flight. The first stage will land on A Shortfall of Gravitas drone ship, which will be stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. First night with no wind. Yeah, the weather looks really good for tonight. So we have a standard mission profile. We'll go through it kind of quick because we're getting really close to that SpaceX stream starting up. We're already deep into the SpaceX Launch Director verifies go for propellant load. T-minus 35, we start loading RP1 and liquid oxygen. The liquid oxygen is a cryofuel, so it's incredibly cold. At T-minus 16, we get that second stage locks begin. T-minus 7 minutes, which we are coming up on right about now. Falcon 9 begins engine chill, and that's to chill down the engine so there's no thermal stresses on the engine itself, or limit them considerably. And then the first one that we'll see is, well, like I said, they don't put strong back, but we'll see strong back retract, we'll see purging, we'll see vent, and then we'll see propellant tank pressurization for flight, and the command flight computer pre-launch checks. Go time is T-minus 45 seconds, where SpaceX Launch Director verifies go for launch. Engine sequence start is T-minus 3. And at zeros, we have liftoff. This will be another steep climb, kind of a flat ascent. Stage separation, a flip maneuver. The first stage booster will land autonomously on the drone ship using those aerodynamic guidance from those one-piece titanium grid fins. The second stage will continue on to space and separate the payload. It is a right turn glide, yep. Max Qs at T plus 1 minute and 12 seconds. Then we have a first stage main engine cutoff at T plus 2 minutes and 30. Stage separation at about 4 seconds later. About 5 or 6 seconds after that, second engine start 1. About 30 seconds after that, we get our fairing deployment. Yes, it's a right turn glide. Yep. And then we have about 3 minutes that pass, and we'll get that first stage entry burn. About 18 seconds later, that entry burn will end. And then it will drift down using the atmosphere to slow. for about 1 minute and 30 seconds until it starts its landing burn and then lands on the drone ship. The payload will continue, and the Starlinks will deploy at T plus 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 27 seconds. We have a good feed from SpaceX, so that's always a good sign. And we're picking it up right at that strong back retract.
Strong back lower has started.
So again, that rocket comes out horizontally. It's lifted up vertically by the strong back. It's held in position there until it's ready for launch. Then we get about a 4-degree retract of that strong back, and then it will go to about 15 degrees once we get closer to launch. We're seeing our puffy stuff, which is just the super cool liquid oxygen interacting with the warm and humid Florida atmosphere. And everything looks good. Like I said, we don't see a whole lot on stream, but there is a lot going on behind the scenes. They're doing checkouts, doing purges, filling up tanks, so we should get a fill complete in somewhere in the next minute. Yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, it turns right over top of Scad's house. Scad said I could dock Scad. So, this is not me. So we're at T minus 3 minutes. Everything's still looking good. No holds, no anything going on there.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
And there's our LOX load call out. So it is full of liquid oxygen on stage 1. That it is crazy. I covered that before the more stream, so it's my third back to back. So these towers, it's full of volatile, obviously fuels. So these towers are lightning rods. So it drives the lightning down so it doesn't explode the rocket on the launch pad. He thinks it's Wednesday. Yeah, I know. Because NASA is still back in the 60s in just about everything they do. Government programs, you know.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
And we have full LOX load on stage 2, which is that stage that will continue taking the payload into orbit. Scad's ready on her front lawn. So we're about 35 seconds from that flight command computer and tank pressurization. So there's ground gas closeouts. So they're purging the line, so there's nothing that catches on fire going back into the supply, the fuel supply system. So about 15 seconds, we'll get that propellant tank pressurization call out and internal power, internal flight computers. We're about 20 seconds from the go, no go, which is the critical stage.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And we are in startup. Falcon 9 is controlling the entire flight at this point from its onboard flight computers. Critical point here.
Go for launch.
And we are go for launch. They, as we've seen recently, still could potentially, I'm not even going to say it, but you know what I'm going to say. But we're T minus 30 seconds and looking good. Go SpaceX, go Falcon 9. Let's light this candle. T minus 15.
T minus 15 seconds. T minus 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
ignition.
2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Starlink 634. Go Starlink, go Falcon.
Oh, thank God.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
So as we said, that right turn, it's already pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
And we are nominal. Nominal flight. It uses more fuel to pitch downrange immediately, but because you're going through more atmosphere and more of the fluid, and you have more of the gravitational effect, but there are certain places that they need to get these Starlinks into.
Nominal power and telemetry.
And since they went to the V2s that are much smaller and much lighter, they have a little bit more freedom. So it's so bright because it's so clear tonight. That's awesome.
Falcon and Starlink are supersonic.
And supersonic, so we passed the... And coming up on max Q.
Max Q.
That's the maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. That's where the speed is at the highest in relation to the atmosphere at its thickest. So the maximum aerodynamic stresses on the vehicle. SpaceX is rather unique. They actually throttle down and then throttle back up to punch through after they get through max Q. So
MVAC engine chill has started.
now they're starting to chill the engine on that second stage, the one lone Merlin optimized vacuum engine. And the dog's barking. And again, you can see that plume starting to, as we encounter less and less atmosphere and less pressure, you see the plume of the engines start to fan out a little bit. And that, again, is the reason for the bigger bell on the vacuum optimized engines. And main engine cutoff. And stage
Main engine
separation.
cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
And good SEP. Good MECO.
MVAC ignition.
And we have good ignition of the MVAC. So on the left is going to be your first stage. There's those grid fins. They're going to communicate autonomously with the drone ship to bring it back in and land. You can see the coast of Florida off to your left. On the left side is the first stage coming back to Earth. On the right side is the
Fairing
payload
separation
stage.
confirmed.
And the fairing is separated, and now the payload is exposed to the vacuum of space. Those fairings will float back to Earth, and they'll try and catch them with big nets and boats, or fish them out of the ocean. Again, we'll see some of that speed bleed off because of the flip maneuver, and then we will see it pick back up slightly.
Both vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
And then we'll have our entry burn, which will slow it down again. And then it will speed back up just slightly until it starts encountering atmosphere, and then we'll see the speed bleed off very quickly. Butterfly nets, yeah, they're basically big butterfly nets. Do they reuse the fairings? They try to. They've been recently more successful with it, but yeah, they're hard to catch. They kind of float. They are giant butterflies. Big, beautiful butterfly. Everything looks nominal. You'll continue to see that right side engine burn. It should be around 24,000 kilometers per hour once it's in parking orbit.
Both vehicles continuing to follow a nominal trajectory.
Still have a nominal flight. Digger, you're welcome down at my dock at any time. I'm just so lazy I won't walk to the end of the dock. I walk to the front lawn instead. They could use Patrick's butterfly net. Does Elon make $1 million with every successful rocket launch? Not specifically these ones, because he's launching them for his own company. So these are Starlink. These are Starlink V2 satellites. They're 23 Starlink V2 satellites. So these are not paid launches. However, there's a lot of usefulness in proving out the technology with these. Technology reliability and entry burn.
Stage 1, entry burn, startup.
Stage 1, FTSS saved.
So he's not technically making anything off of these, but then, he's making subscriptions, increase on reliability numbers and all that kind of stuff. So tangentially.
Stage 1, entry burn, shutdown.
Yeah, he's making
Stage
money in
2,
some way,
FTSS
just
saved.
not directly for the flight. So now we're in that.
Both stages are on a nominal trajectory.
So we're in that kind of coast phase, and now we're encountering atmosphere. You can see the air coming up through those grid fins, those big titanium grid fins. And you can see that speed in the lower left-hand corner just bleeding right off as it's encountering more and more atmosphere. And we lost uplink. And stage one is transonic. So the onboard camera is obviously not working, so now we're looking up from the drone ship, I assume. So we should see a flame here in about 20-30 seconds, maybe.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Stage 1, landing burn.
No, we're not going to see anything because the camera cheaped out again. There we go. So we have good landing burn and landing legs deploy right now.
Stage 1, landing leg deploy.
And touchdown. Damn, that one was near
Stage 1,
perfect.
landing confirmed.
That one's right in the middle. So we have another successful landing of an orbital class rocket booster. And the second stage is... Oh, they're going a little faster tonight.
Back shutdown.
27,000. So we have good orbital insertion on the second stage. We have good landing on the first stage, and that is where SpaceX will end their coverage.
Nominal park orbit insertion.
So I will be doing the very same. It's good to see a launch. It's been a while. Great job, SpaceX, as always. There's not the other two, the one from Vandenberg and the one, well, I'm going to check because this one, the USS 52 mission, the mission for the Falcon Heavy with the XB-37 spaceplane has been delayed until Thursday, December 28th. That will be at 7 o'clock, and I will certainly be covering that. And then there is a upcoming Starlink from Vandenberg that I think is also delayed till then. Yes, Thursday, December 28th. There will be a launch of Falcon 9 with 21 Starlink satellites that will go out of Vandenberg Air Force Base at 9:09 Pacific, so about midnight Eastern. So for whatever reason, they're standing down on those two launches until later. With that being said, thanks as always for watching. Yeah, for sure. The Falcon Heavy, it's going to be a night launch. It will be beautiful. Yeah, that's 28th launch time. There's a 4-hour launch window starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, I'll be certainly covering it. So just keep an eye out. But that'll be it for me. Thanks for watching. And I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Have a good night, y'all. Take care.